Welcome back, Dolphins. Today we're going to be talking about, since rookie minicamp is happening, we're going to be talking about some of the rookies that I really think are going to make a big step into making this team what we need it to be. First off, I'm going to just preface leaving off Jonas Abayanaya just because I think he's going to be a great offensive lineman. I don't think there's much to talk about. I think he's a very good offensive lineman. I think he's going to fit perfectly. And like I said, I don't think there's going to be much to talk about. I don't think he's going to be like a superstar coming into the league, but I do think he's going to be a very good starting offensive lineman. So just to preference, I'm leaving, him off this list. The first one's going to be Kenneth Grant. And I know people are going to be like, yeah, he's our first round pick. But I think people are underlyingly just thinking that he's just going to be a run-stuffing dude and that he's not going to do much more than that. People have to understand that with Kenneth Grant, he tested athletically in like the 1 percentile of athletes with his size and stature, and in general, like basically it's a test that all athletes are kind of built into, where they look at their weight, stature, and they see how they move around athletically. And Kenneth Grant is in the 1%. And when we come into this league year, I think a lot of people are just thinking that Kenneth Grant is just going to be taking up two guys and that's going to be it. And, we're running a 3-4 defense. I think the way that we've set up this defense, if that were the case, people are pretending like Zach Sealer is just going to get one-on-ones every single day. And I'm going to be real honest with you. I think Zach Sealer is going to have a great year. I think he's going to have his best year yet. But Zach Sealer is not going to be getting one-on-ones every single day. Typically, it probably is going to be maybe a double team on Sealer because he's the more experienced guy and all of that. And of course, Kenneth Grant is that nose tackle. But I do think that Kenneth Grant is going to get some one-on-ones just based on the fact of how dominant that Sealer is. And with our 3-4, dude, it's going to be, I know we have to find an edge. I think, honestly, stick Benito Jones probably on the other end to take up more space. So if you really consider this, we're going to have literally Kenneth Grant, Sealer, and I would say put Benito, or they have like Wilkerson or something like that over there, but I would say put Benito, get another big boy over there. And then you got Chubb, Phillips, Chop, all on the edges, rushing the passer. I'm telling you, I do think, in the press conference with Greer, said, people are underestimating his pass rush ability. I think we truly are, and I think the reason behind is going to be because he's going to get one-on-ones. He's a rookie. People are not just going to leave Sealer to go against the guard every single freaking day. They're not. He's too dominant. He's going to get double teamed, and with the type of front that we have going into this year, you can only double team one person because someone's going to get to the quarterback, and that's what's really exciting about this year. And for Kenneth Grant, because he's going to get those one-on-ones. And like I said, if you watch some of the tape, he does have some pass rush moves to get to the quarterback and to rip. It's just, I'm going to be real with you. I think the other Michigan guy, although he's good, I think you have to see what he does in the NFL, because Kenneth Grant was taking up most of those double teams every single day. And the other guy was getting basically one-on-ones, and that's why he was getting to the quarterback. I think with Kenneth Grant, he's not going to be getting double-teamed every play. Sealer is going to get double-teamed because Sealer is the more dominant guy. And what that leaves is that Kenneth Grant is going to probably have a couple of one-on-ones every single game. And I think, honestly, we're going to see with this rookie camp, for a guy that big, you guys would be surprised at how well that he moves, how agile he is, and how much burst he has getting off the line. I think he is very underrated for his agility and his burst and how quickly he plays for a dude that size. Like I said, typically would reference like a Vince Wilfork, for the Patriots. I think he kind of is like that big dude that's just abnormally agile and fast. And there's a old story of where Vince Wilfork would be playing games, basketball games, and he would be able to dunk. Like, he's that type of dude where he's huge, but he doesn't move like he's huge. There's a lot of players that are huge and they move like they're huge, like they just take up space and don't really have that athletic ability. When you watch Kenneth Grant, he has that ability with that size to really move around offensive linemen, and I'm telling you, I think with this rookie minicamp, he's secretly going to show us that he's got pass rush ability. Obviously, it's a lesser thing. Rookie minicamp is just kind of seeing him, but this is the guy to look out for when it comes to, I think, coming into the season. People are, just thinking that he's going to be a run stopper, and I think he's going to be more than that. Number 2 is going to be Ollie Gordon. I am so excited about seeing Ollie Gordon. I think people need to learn about this dude a lot more. When you look at this guy, 2023, I think it was, he was in the Heisman race, 1,700 yards, a bucket full of touchdowns, like just was legit the best running back in college football. And what happened in 2024, if you watch Oklahoma State, the offensive line was trash, the quarterback was trash, and basically everybody knew that he was running the ball. And there's a couple plays, and there's one play in particular where literally they hike the ball, the quarterback is going to give the ball to Ollie Gordon, and the entire offensive line didn't really block anybody. And this was happening regularly. And with that happening regularly, he still had over a dozen, I think a dozen or maybe more than that, touchdowns this year. Yeah, he only had 800 yards, which is not great. But he had over a dozen touchdowns with probably one of the worst offensive lines in college football. Now, him coming to the Dolphins, you have a dude, he's 6'2", 225, probably going to be closer to 230 entering the season, straight muscle. And it's going to be the back that we've needed desperately, because Jalen Wright, he's very shifty, he's very agile and all that. And, he takes on more than Devon Achane. I think it's going to be something that we have to discuss with Devon Achane because, again, I think you have to use them in packages, but if you're really, it's going to be crazy to see this running back room because I think truly it's going to be nasty. Like having Devon Achane, Jalen Wright, people are sleeping on him. When our offensive line was good, Jalen Wright, I think there's a video of me saying that he's going to take over the starting job because Jalen Wright was that good, and he was running people over, he was moving around people, he was finding the opening, one cut, go. But Ollie Gordon is a different story. He's going to be that guy that I'm telling you right now, we want to input a physical presence on this team. We have all these agile runners. Ollie Gordon is going to put that physical. He's going to be running people over. He's going to be stiff arming. He's going to be like a mini Derrick Henry out there. And I'm predicting this right now. Ollie Gordon is going to see snaps in this season. I think he's going to be competing for the second string job. But I do think that Ollie Gordon's going to see the field. He's going to get probably most of the goal line touches because on top of that, he can catch the ball. I don't think people truly understand what we got in Ollie Gordon. I think we're going to see it during the season. But this dude is a stud. He can catch the ball. I'm talking about not just screens. You can run him out there. Not obviously as good as Devon Achane, but you can run him out there and he'll catch the ball over his shoulder. He's very good at catching the ball for a running back. The only thing with him is the pass blocking needs to get a little better, but he still is not bad. That was kind of one of the things with Jalen Wright is the pass blocking wasn't great. But I truly think that a lot of us are going to see Ollie Gordon really show out in rookie minicamp, and he's probably. I love Jalen Wright, but I just think the overall potential that Ollie Gordon has, it's gonna be great. I could really see a Leonard Fournette. I could see something like that, like a Leonard Fournette guy that just pounds the ball over and over again, wears the defense out, and the play action is gonna be sick. And like I said, when we get to the red zone goal line area, it's going to be so much harder to stop us because before you have Devon Achane, Jalen Wright, they're good, but you didn't really have that guy that can just pound the football into the goal line and just by pure physicality alone get the ball in the end zone. Now you have that, plus you can do all the passing and all that stuff. And that's something that we were kind of struggling with, and Tua is very good in the red zone. He makes very good decisions in the red zone. Ollie Gordon is going to be a stud coming into this year. The next one that I want to talk about is Andrew Armstrong. And although, obviously undrafted free agent, I think he's going to make the roster, and I think there's going to be some plays for him, especially, again, like we're talking about the red zone. He's 6'4", 220 or something like that. Like, very big dude, very big dude. And when you look at the SEC in Arkansas, like something that I was surprised about when I was going over them and looking at the wide receivers in the later rounds, obviously the route running is not, great, but he led SEC receivers in receptions, I'm pretty sure. And I think he had like over 1,300 yards receiving. And the problem was he didn't score many touchdowns. But also, it's really like Arkansas tends to do this with receivers. It's like a lot of, I think even when the guy that went to Tennessee came out, a lot of Arkansas receivers are such like this weird wildcat running type of team that it's weird for the wide receivers. But Andrew Armstrong, I'm telling you right now, if he can put his route running together, his hands are pretty good. He doesn't have a lot of drops. Like I said, it was just the touchdowns that, made people auspicious because he's only got like one, I think it is, for the last season. But like I said, led in receptions, and the physicality alone from the body of being a 6'4" receiver is something that we've needed. Again, they're turning to physicality, and this is kind of probably the lead. We'll see what Eric Izukanma does, but I think this is kind of like the 1 foot out with Izukanma, because with this type of dude, number one, didn't really have injuries, and number two, younger guy, coming in much more, of a physical presence. I love Izukanma. I would have loved to see him on the field. I think he had a lot of positive plays whenever he was on the field. He just can't stay on the field. I think he's going to be into this rookie minicamp, someone that you have to look that's going to, most likely he's going to make the team and possibly make a contribution. Last one I want to talk about is Quinn Ewers. Obviously, we're going to have this. I probably will hear from some of the people that are watching this video. Quinn Ewers, he's going to take over to his job or whatever. It's not going to happen. He's not that level. But what I do think is that he definitely is better than Zach Wilson. And again, another guy like a year and a half ago, we were projecting him to be one of the top quarterbacks picked with, Cam and Shador. Obviously had a bad year. And, the problem is he had a bad year with a lot of good receivers and weapons. He had like Jaden Blue in the backfield with, another running back. He had, Bond, Golden. He had a bunch of weapons to throw to. But what I do think is that, like I said, I'm not thinking that he's going to be out there slinging the rock as a starting quarterback, but I do think that we have found our backup quarterback. There's an out in Zach Wilson's contract after this year. I think that in reality, Quinn Ewers is going to outplay Zach Wilson. And I think we have, Skylar Thompson stank. Like, he sucked. But Quinn Ewers, I think, can definitely, he was in the same type of offense in Texas. Texas runs very similar offense to the Miami Dolphins. And I think he can really take up that backup role and really perform very well. People are underestimating, like, yeah, even if Zach Wilson becomes the backup in training camp, God forbid. I hope all of this is irrelevant and Tua just stays on the field, because when Tua's on the field, we win. But if it does happen, I think Zach Wilson, if he performs well, great, but I don't think that he will. We've seen Zach Wilson throughout the years. He's never really put it all together. And I think Quinn Ewers gives you a better option of being able to hear what Mike McDaniel's saying, make the throw, and just allow the team to stay afloat if Tua goes down.